It's the movie toasty show, here for you. Dennis and Adam joke about orgasms and sweet movie reviews. We talk about TV too, right?
I think so.
Yeah?
Yeah.
Yeah, movie toast.
How's
Welcome
it
to
going?
episode 202. Woo! We're doing it, Dennis. We're kicking
That's
off this
right.
200 streak with some big movies this week. And
That's
some little
right.
movies. But I'm excited to hear some stuff that you have coming up. We got a new movie that's hitting theaters tomorrow as of the posting of this episode.
Yeah.
Or today, depending when this episode actually comes out. Anywho, how's it going, Dennis?
Good. As you said, I had an interesting weekend. Going to a screening for one of the films where I'm reviewing today, so I'm really excited to share some of that stuff. But doing good, man. Doing good. How about yourself?
I just got home from a 3-movie marathon and been drinking Pib all day, so I'm gonna test my bladder this episode. So
there you go.
Hopefully, I don't gotta walk away to pee, but we'll find out.
Pib extra bursting.
Yes, the good stuff.
There you go.
Oh,
nice.
man. Nice. Yeah. So without further ado, let's talk about a little thing called news.
Gather round, folks, it's time for the scoop. Tune your ears in, let's join the loop.
Let's join that loop.
All right. The loop has begun, Dennis. On our last episode and the last episode before that, so the previous 2 episodes, we've mentioned that there's 2 new Predator movies coming. But this week, we got some news that there's a big change happening. Have you heard about this change yet with Predator Badland?
No.
All right. So this feature is going to do something we've never done before with the Predator. And the Predator is going to be a good guy. Essentially, we're going to be rooting for the Predator in this movie.
Okay.
He is a protagonist.
Interesting. Okay. Really all right. Because I was going to say, I feel like in Alien versus Predator, they become allies, the humans and the Predators, or damn it. I always forget the name of them.
I don't know what the fuck they're called.
What they call themselves. But yeah. So I feel like that's just, up until this one, that's the closest we get to kind of cheering them on instead of it being a straight up enemy. But that's an interesting route.
The way Dan Trachtenberg described it was the creature is front and center, leading the charge. He's still badass, but there's something there that touches you emotionally too, creating a character you connect with, but are also super intimidated by. Has been challenging, but exciting.
Nice.
Groundbreaking. Yeah. I mean, so hopefully they're building this up. And I'm wondering, because this, I think, stars Elle Fanning. Is she going to be the Predator, or is going to be a situation like where maybe she's the villain? I don't know. But she's pretty good actress.
Right. Yeah. How is this being reframed? And then if this is a contemporary Earth era, so, because they technically existed up until we get into the Alien timeline. We just don't. They seem to know better than to fuck around with humans as much anymore. But or maybe not. I don't know. I mean, I feel like, what appearances other than those movies, we've never jumped that far ahead to getting the full-fledged space sci-fi, space marine versus Predator sort of shit. I would love to see that, but especially in the right context.
It's only a matter of time, I'm thinking.
Oh yeah, not just a video game, but I want to see it on the big screen.
Heck yeah,
that would be badass. Awesome. Well, that's a cool little bit there.
So as Christmas is approaching and Terrifier 3 has been a hot film, the folks behind Terrifier 3, Cineverse, have announced that they are rebooting the 1984 cult classic film Silent Night, Deadly Night, which honestly, I'm ashamed to admit I have not seen, but I believe Santa goes on a terror killing spree. Have you seen this one?
Not this particular one. I remember seeing what is it? I think I've seen most of Santa's sleigh, but I've never
Is that the one with the Goldberg? Is he
yes.
Santa?
Yep.
God, I
Yep.
gotta
That
check
was
that one out too.
so bad. But I mean, I get it. This strike while the iron's hot. Especially you get into these like seasonal sort of films. These are the kind of culty things that people will come back and watch again next holiday season.
Right.
Or like that transitionary period after Halloween getting into the holiday festiveness. I get it. There are times where it's like I want to keep watching horror movies and stuff just because Halloween's over. It doesn't mean I'm over.
Right. You got to strike the iron while it's
kills.
hot. Get the people where they're still in the mood to watch that stuff.
Yeah.
And willing to watch some holiday stuff.
Exactly.
And it's being directed by a guy named Mike P. Nelson. I guess he rebooted Wrong Turn a couple of years ago, and he had a segment in VHS 85. So this guy apparently has a little bit of knowledge when it comes to rebooting stuff.
It's got the horror chops there. Nice.
Yes, sir.
Well, cool.
So
that could be an interesting time.
Yeah, I'm willing to check it out. Speaking of reboots, we're getting a reboot of a science fiction classic, Forbidden Planet. And it's going to be written and produced by comic book writer Brian K. Vaughan. Have you checked this one out? Have you seen Forbidden Planet?
No. I think I've seen clips of it. We might have seen the trailer for it in the old David Johnson's class back at Columbia, but I have not watched this whole thing. I know isn't this one of Leslie Nielsen's like earliest roles?
I think so. Yeah, look how young he looks in this picture,
right?
In the poster.
The killer poster. I love that poster art too.
It's classic.
It is.
And I don't know. It's interesting because for a while I know James Cameron was in talks to do this. So I don't know. I'm intrigued. I feel like Brian K. Vaughan, he's a pretty good writer. So
I know that. Was Walking Dead, or what am I thinking of?
Was it some reason I want to say like Kingsman, but I feel like that's wrong. Damn it.
Oh man. Yeah.
You think I would know this off the top of my head, but I know I've heard the name a million times.
Yeah, same here. It's like that's a name I know I am familiar with, but
okay. He's done Saga.
Okay.
I know a lot of people like that. And fuck. Okay, apparently Why the Last Man?
Oh shit.
Runaways.
There's the big dogs.
I feel like he's done other Ex Machina.
Okay.
Why the Last Man? Yeah, so
a lot of things that have been adapted too. So
yeah.
It's knows the transition between the page and the well, I mean, it's a remake of a film anyways, right? So I don't believe it's got another previous source material. This wasn't like a book before this or something.
I believe so, yeah. So
okay, yeah. Well,
makes sense.
Yeah, that should be cool. I wonder, and I would love it if they would keep some of the retro feel.
Oh, that'd be fantastic.
That would be awesome.
You don't see that very often, especially with the big studio films. So it could be a nice little swing.
Yeah, big practical set pieces.
Right. Sticking with the reboots, because I mean that's all we get these days. It feels like. There's going to be a reboot of the 90s comedy horror Idle Hands. And it's going to be produced by Jason Reitman. But the interesting thing here that I'm digging is it's going to be written and directed by Finn Wolfhard and his producing partner, Billy Burke. So, I don't know. Stranger Things guys coming in, getting in that zone. Because I guess he has a movie that he... recently directed called Hell of a Summer that people are loving, and just trying to keep that momentum going.
Nice.
Staying in that horror comedy world.
Yeah, I mean it's like he's been on set for so much of his life. At this point,
up there.
Why not? Yeah, why not take a shot at it? And because like you said, he's got the one. Does he have another movie too? I feel like he was on like Hot Ones or something and was talking about his directing experience. It's like I had no idea he was going that direction, but good for him.
Right,
like, get out there and get your
might as well
get your get your feet
and I can only
and...
imagine that he'll probably star in it too, but I don't know, I could be wrong. Not
we'll have to see that.
That just yet.
Sounds like a fun time though.
Yeah, And kind of rebooting, but kind of a newer original thing. It looks like we might now have a new Lara Croft for the upcoming Amazon Prime series created by Phoebe Waller-Bridges. And it looks like Lara Croft might be played by Sophie Turner from Game of Thrones.
Interesting. Okay.
I don't know. She's a badass, but I just don't picture Lara Croft. But I mean, by the time this thing comes out, something had to win them over.
It's not like her character had a lot of action in Game of Thrones, but I'm trying to think. I know there was other stuff she did after that probably leans more that direction. But yeah, why not? It's at least appreciating the fantastical sort of element to things and the vastness and scale of something that it should be for a Lara Croft or Tomb Raider centered story.
Right.
I feel like there's a lot of face value and people just kind of like go past it, but all of them are rather story rich, and there's the intensity to all the big set pieces, the huge jumps and the stunts and the gun battles, and badass.
And what's interesting, I think, didn't they just come out with an animated Croft series over on Netflix? So it's like you got that going, and then you had the reboot that came out a couple of years ago that Walter Goggins was in. So it's like apparently Sony really likes this property enough to spread it wide and far.
Oh yeah, I also think it's the point where maybe the Marvel things they have a hold of, not all of them are panning out so well. So let's keep what other shit do we still have? Okay, Tomb Raider, let's go.
And it's not like Amazon is new to the video game world. I mean, they have
it's true
killing it over there with Fallout, and I think they're doing BioShock too, and so they're trying to corner that market.
Yeah, if they're gonna give BioShock the same treatment that Fallout had, I can only imagine how killer that will end up looking. And it's another like sort of retro futuristic feel too. They're already going to be in that wheelhouse. You're already going to have crew that are going to know how to make this world come to life. I have high hopes for that one. Those were very well written stories. So good stuff.
Speaking of which, did you hear that Macaulay Culkin's joining the second season?
Yeah,
I'm
so excited for that. I guess he's what they've said so much or said so far is a doctor know-it-all type character or something. So it's like great, awesome. I don't even care
in that wheelhouse
what he's going to be doing. Like I am looking forward to whatever that is or wherever. I'm very curious how that's going to be employed. Whether they're going to split it between LA or in New Vegas, or if they're just going to do one or the other, show us one place or the other.
Because they were kind of tipping their hat that that the Ghoul wants to go to Vegas, right?
I think at the end of the last season. Finish this contract here, like finish the deal. He's gonna might as well see it through to the end. But there at that last shot of LA kind of made me think we're not quite done here yet, especially returning power to the city. There's going to be a huge power grab vacuum of all right, let's grab as much of the usable resources as we can. And I don't know. There's going to be some cool shit in store, I'm sure.
Hell yeah. And speaking of cool shit, a few episodes ago, we were talking about Christopher Nolan's latest upcoming film, which is going to star Tom Holland and Matt Damon. Now it's been announced that we're getting Zendaya, Anne Hathaway, and Lupita Nyong'o joining the film as well. So this is shaping up to be a pretty star-studded thing, I think.
That's a killer cast. Yeah. Oh my God. Yeah. Well, hell yeah.
So,
all right.
I'm really looking forward to that. It should be, and by the time it comes out, who knows who else is going to join this thing? Look how many people were tossed into Oppenheimer that just had the tiniest role, but nobody's going to say, I don't want to be in your film, Mr. Nolan.
Chris, hey, I don't got time for this.
You want me to be an extra?
All right, you make time. Yeah, right.
I might not even understand what your movie's about, like Tenet, but I'll be in it. Fuck yeah.
Is that Harrison Ford standing back there? Didn't say a word. That's it. He's gone.
What a true artist.
Yeah.
Oh boy. And hot breaking news that I just saw before we came on the mic. Kevin Smith just announced that he is coming back for another Dogma movie.
Oh yes.
And
I did just see that too. I'm curious what your reaction to this was. Like, is it been too long? Like,
I mean, there's been an issue with Dogma. The fact that he's wanted to do more stuff with it, like re-release it. They wasn't on Blu-ray. It was all held up in like the Weinstein and whatnot. They were really holding it back, and now he finally has control of the property again.
Mm-hmm.
So I'm looking forward to it. But just interesting seeing how, like, in a modern day spin, how they're going to continue that story. But it's interesting because he's quoted saying some people will be like, "Don't fucking touch it, you'll ruin it," and I'm here to tell you, I will. I'm fucking tickled I found a way in. And then he went on to tease, I've been able to, talking about having Affleck and Damon star in the original film, he said, I've been holding that over both their heads for 25 fucking years, which is why they keep showing up in all my movies, except a cameo from them. More than a fucking cameo. The only way we get a Dogma sequel made is if they're there. So count on those guys being there. So yeah, I don't know. I'm intrigued. It's been a hit or a miss with some things Kevin Smith has done, but he's kind of got off the weed and he's kind of focusing on like really telling stories he wants to tell again. Because I hated the last Jay and Silent Bob movie, but I loved the last Clerks movie, and I loved his last kind of standalone movie, the 4:30 movie. So I'm willing to see it out. I'm excited.
Nice.
And he's been teasing that he's doing a new horror movie that's kind of in the vein of Rosemary's Baby. So I'm wondering if this might be that. Maybe now Bethany, our main character from the last movie, maybe she'll be like with Satan's spawn or something. I don't know.
Oh shit.
I'm kind of tickled by it.
Nice. Nice.
Yeah. So hopefully. But speaking of funny people, Dennis, we finally have the new host of the Oscars, Mr. Conan O'Brien, is coming in to host the 97th Oscars, which is coming March 2nd.
It seems like a natural choice to have someone who's used to his style of his humor and the way he just goes for everything. He's going to be able to carry that just fine, and then roll with the punches too. Like, as things come up,
yeah. Oh yeah. And honestly,
he's quick.
I haven't cared about the Oscars in years, but I think this could get me interested in checking it out just to see what he does with it. Yeah.
So many costume changes do you think he's going to have?
I could see a decent amount, and they'd be extremely wacky. Oh yeah.
Yes. Oh yeah.
Kind of like a Weird Al show. Go all out with it.
Oh god.
And
that should be fun.
Yeah. As you mentioned earlier, Marvel has been throwing things out left and right, but we recently got news that there is going to be a Black Panther 3 when Denzel Washington was doing press for Gladiator 2. He essentially said he wants to work with good directors, and he said he's doing a limited amount of movies before he retires. And he said one of the movies, Ryan Coogler is writing a part for him in the next Black Panther. And then after that, he's going to do an Othello film. And apparently he didn't know that Marvel has not announced this yet. So he kind of fucked that one up. But he's even gone on to said he doesn't care if it's a small role or a big role, whatever it is, he's going to do it because he has that respect and admiration for Ryan Coogler.
Nice. Yeah, I mean, the guy hasn't slowed down a tick. I don't see a problem why he wouldn't be able to fit into that world just fine. It's still and that's still, I think, one of their more consistent properties where you're gonna be entertained when you come check these movies out. So badass. The addition of Denzel should only be a good thing in my opinion. So that's
I would hope so.
Ought to be sick. Yeah. Nice.
Yeah. So up next, we're gonna close out the news segment with some Star Wars talk, of course.
Yeah.
Boy, Simon Kinberg is working on a new trilogy, and it's kind of up in the air. There's rumors saying it could be its own thing. Other rumors saying this is going to be episodes 10 through 12, and nobody really knows. And oddly enough, they just announced that they have taken a Star Wars film out of the December 18th, 2026 release date, which everyone kind of thinks was going to be that Rey standalone film that she had, and in place they're putting in a new Ice Age 6, which is interesting because they closed the animation studio that did Ice Age. But anywho, I don't know. Simon Kinberg, he's done some good things, he's done some bad things, but in the realm of Star Wars, I think he had a hand in Rebels, right?
That sounds right. Yeah. It's such a killer series, and it did such a good job of speaking to a broad enough audience without having to rely on too many of the same characters again. And even the ones that you did bring back were some very iconic ones from either the Clone Wars animated series or just the lesser folks that honestly deserve a little more screen time and attention. So that's only sounds like good news to me. The movie getting taken off the bill kind of sucks because they keep reshuffling all of their stuff. I'm like, that's but I get it. You don't rush them out, but at the same time,
which is nice.
Yes.
But it's like
so many
now
other
it's like
they had that sounded so good.
Yeah, like it's a game of chicken. They're just throwing pasta at the wall because we got this, and we know the next film we're actually getting that's already been in production is The Mandalorian and Grogu. But we were supposed to have Ray doing the new Jedi Order. Then we were going to get James Mangold doing Dawn of the Jedi. Then of course there was supposed to be the Lando movie, which was turned into a series. And who knows what's going on with that? Then there's the Dave Filoni movie. Then there's Taika Waititi, Sean Levy, Rogue Squadron, Patty Jenkins, Rain Johnson. Fucking
Rogue Squadron. I'm still bitter about that. That should have been years ago now.
She's still kind of possibly working on it, but I don't know.
Yeah, it's been so long. But at least the fandom is going to latch onto that right away. But that's the part that also scares me a little bit is that it is it's for a specific group of Star Wars fans. Not everybody likes the dogfighting and which I get. You're going to have political intrigue and other things going on too. Because to me, I feel like it's almost not as grungy in Andor. Like that makes sense. And then going out on the missions and it's the more high octane, like I said, dogfights, going on special forces missions and shit like that, all centered around a group of X-wing pilots. I mean, that just sounds like a winner to me.
and I also forgot to mention Kevin Feige supposedly working on one.
Yes.
I don't know. There's so many things. It's like I'm happy, like you were saying, they're not just jumping in, doing it. They're taking their time. But I don't know if this Simon Kinberg one actually happens. Would you want to see it be another Skywalker, or do you want to see it be its own standalone thing?
I kind of want to see it. I kind of want to see it its own standalone thing. We've got it. Nothing against more of that, but I think let's want it more. Let's have another, like a little more hunger for
let it breathe for a couple of years.
Yeah, I think we've got to show an audience. People are willing to see more than just that. There's a lot of it between all the other series and things. So let's just have a little more faith in the fact that being set in this universe can be the thing that draws people in. It doesn't just need to be a Skywalker story. There could still be the things left there. I mean, I know in the expanded universe, the legacy sort of stories, they can be adapted into new movies and stuff, but you're also missing some like really iconic characters that just won't ever make any sense to try to bring them back. Like we're never going to get Mara Jade in a movie. Luke's never, unless we've just completely shoehorn his secret marriage in some gap somewhere. But I just really hope they don't bother with trying to do that. Like just there's great stories in the novels and comics and stuff that they can go adapt. I mean, Darth Vader alone has some really badass stuff that they can pull from. So
interesting enough, I was reading an article with I think I want to say the storyboard artist of the Phantom Menace. Apparently, Qui-Gon Jinn wasn't going to be Qui-Gon Jinn. Apparently, did you hear about that? How apparently Obi-Wan was going to be like a mantle that Ewan McGregor's character then took over.
Yep. So it was meant to be a reference to that line of I haven't heard that name in a long time, and it was supposed to try to give it more gravity, and it's kind of just like, nah, never mind. We're gonna tweak it a little bit. He's just gonna that huge change of going by Ben instead of Obi-Wan is going to be the secret fucking alias he's working under. I mean, it's like Clark Kent's glasses. Whatever. We just gotta go with it. Yep. Yeah. No one else in the world seems to notice, but I thought that's interesting. I'm kind of glad they didn't follow through with that, because then you're going to keep handing out, which I guess they kind of did with Rey adopting the Skywalker name. So in a way,
that was the worst ending.
We didn't need that. Just let her be who she is.
Yeah, let her be Rey. She doesn't need
And
to
like,
know.
not every Padawan needs to be like the child of their master either. It's supposed to be a tradition of handing that information off.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know.
Yeah. I guess
Silliness.
time will tell, really.
Yeah. Oh yes. Yeah. We got a lot of stories to tell.
So yeah, that's it for the news this week, Dennis. Maybe we can get into our next segment, the old polls.
Do it.
All right. On episode 201, I reviewed a new Ray Fiennes movie called Conclave. So I wanted to know what the Toasties' favorite Ray Fiennes movie was out of Schindler's List, Made in Manhattan, In Bruges, in the Menu. Anything
Schindler's
you like
List
here?
was just so fucking gnarly. That's it's a great film. I still haven't done In Bruges, but Made in Manhattan is quite the.
I didn't know he was in that, to be honest, until
I
I
didn't
looked at
either,
the
until you
poster.
Okay.
Like I'm like, oh, maybe he's like a background actor, a character we don't see much of. And no, he's right there in the fucking poster of the movie.
Yeah,
and I'm
he's
like,
like one of the main characters. Yeah.
Apparently he like might own the hotel or some shit. A love interest. I don't know. I feel like he's too old to be in love with J-Lo. I don't know. It doesn't matter. But
I would go with Schindler's List still.
Fair enough.
But whenever I see Made in Manhattan, all I could think of is that line from The Office of Dwight talking about doing research for throwing a wedding. I saw that movie with the Latina with the big can.
See, I always think of Flight of the Conchords. The birthday song when he's like, all my friends, they're in town to watch that movie Made in Manhattan. I guess it's not a birthday song, but he talks about his birthday in the song. Anywho, for me, it's going to be The Menu.
Nice.
For the Toasties, let's find out.
What you got, Toasties?
11% for Made in Manhattan. Look at that. Look how
so
young
made.
he looks. Kind of looks like Ed Begley Jr. a bit in that picture to me.
He's not Voldemort at all over there. Look at that.
Nah, man. Balda who? 11% for In Bruges.
Okay.
Honestly, I saw the movie once. I don't recall any of it, but people love it. I gotta give it a rewatch, I think.
Yeah.
I'm with you.
I gotta hit that one.
Yeah. Then that leaves 22 for my choice of The Menu.
Nice.
And then 56% for Schindler's List.
Yeah. It's just so well made. The performances are just so intense and visceral.
Right.
Yeah, it makes sense.
I say right, but I still think that's the same fucking movie as what's the prison Shawshank? The whole time.
Oh my God.
Like, well, yeah, he's in that movie with Morgan Freeman. Nope.
Tim Robbins.
It always gets me, all the time.
But then you just intercut it with Raising Arizona and John Goodman climbing out of the.
Oh no, I would definitely watch that movie. Although I tried watching Raising Arizona, could not get into it. I don't know why.
Oh shoot!
I wanted to like it. Fantastic cast, great
spooky.
directors, great writer, but just something about I don't know did do it for me.
It's got a unique flavor. I don't blame you.
I tried for the Goodman, it just didn't happen.
There you go.
And also on episode 201, I reviewed the latest Sean Baker film, Honora. So I wanted to know what the Toasties' favorite Sean Baker movie was out of Takeout, Tangerine, The Florida Project, and Red Rocket.
Man,
have you watched any of these films?
All of these, haven't you?
No, I honestly have not. I did Red Rocket.
Okay.
I might have done The Florida Project. I know I saw it, so I probably
Tangerine,
did.
I thought you had.
Did not see that one.
No. Oh, damn. Okay.
No.
Yeah.
You're probably thinking because everyone talks about, it was on an iPhone, it was shot.
Maybe. Okay. Maybe that's why. Yeah, that name just sticks out.
Yeah.
Nah. So what's from what you did have? What was yours? Because I got nothing.
Honestly, I guess Red Rocket, but it was a weird movie. It was like I might like this movie, I might not like this movie kind of thing. I was on the fence, but more than I like the Florida Project, even though Willem Dafoe is in it, but not enough to keep me intrigued. Never saw Tangerine, never saw Takeout. So let's see what the Toasties thought. 0% for Takeout,
No take
which
out.
I guess makes sense because that was like an earlier film before people jumped
Mhm.
on his bandwagon. 18% for Red Rocket, 36% for The Florida Project, and 45% for Tangerine.
Damn. Turned out hard for that one. Okay.
They really did. They love that. You got to watch a sex worker do their thing. Shot on an iPhone. He really does like his sex workers. I
Oh,
appreciate
man.
that. Yeah.
Visceral.
That's
The
for
brutality
sure.
of life.
Yeah, 100%. Well, that about does it for the old polls. But we get the main show.
That's
Main
right.
thing of this show, Dennis. Reviews.
Lights, camera, action, it's review time. Dennis and Adam, we gon' blow your mind. We're stepping up to the plate, ready to swing. Analyzing movies like a scientist would play.
All right, I think you're going to take
Yeah.
us off in the beginning here with a little movie called Gladiator.
Yeah. Yes. So this is a little flick that came out in 2000, which, by the way, that fact alone was kind of surprising. I'm like, I could not believe it's been that long. Every few years,
I
end up
remember
kind of
when it
watching
came out on
again.
VHS, and it was what, like 2 or 3 VHSs, I think, kind of
Oh, that
Titanic
makes
esque.
sense. Yeah, I think the first time I watched it on home video was a DVD, but that was several years after the movie had come out. But I just like it was a huge deal, a great Ridley Scott title. It commanded the box office a fair amount. It won Oscars, although he still has yet to win an Oscar himself. But I mean, the star-studded cast alone between Russell Crowe, of course, Joaquin Phoenix, and Connie Nelson just really crush it. As well as Jimon Honsu and Tommy Flanagan. I always like seeing that guy and stuff. Just an incredible story. I mean, not to rehash something too much, but a general in the Roman army whose life is just torn away from him is then cast into the role of becoming a gladiator and fighting in the colosseums, as well as slowly trying to overturn the who's seated on the throne in Rome. Commodus, not a good guy. Joaquin Phoenix, little gross, a little incestuous, little yucky, but my God, incredible performances all around. I was talking to Adam about this last week. It was funny going back to watch it again, because there's just so many things that are of the era, editing and cinematography techniques that just scream the year like late 90s, early 2000s, and it does that. It does that very much, but it is not distracting. The story is incredible. The performances are still outstanding. The movie really, truly stands up. I was honestly kind of expecting something to kind of come off the wrong way, but there's just so many practical effects in this film, and the world is just so fucking real. It's amazing. The movie is still so good. I personally watched it on Pluto, but as we got going down here, if you have Paramount Plus, it is available there as well. But man, with the upcoming sequel just right around the corner here, if you need that little refresher to go back and watch Gladiator again, I highly encourage it, because it's still 24 years later, it's still a hit. Gladiator, I'm giving 3.5 slices. It's still a stellar movie. I like the as they call it, the sword and sandal genre, or sword and sorcery, I guess, when you get to like the Conan sort of stuff, which I really enjoy. Something about this brutality of living in this era. I was really into like the ancient Rome when I was in school, and I liked learning about what the life was like for these gladiators. And these guys, some of them were fucking celebrities. They would achieve a status
I can imagine,
where it wasn't just winning back your own freedom. Some then decided to keep fighting after paying their own way out of being a slave gladiator. It's just I can't imagine that sort of attention and what it would be like to have that sort of presence in the world. But it's the movie does a great job of telling an incredible story, and it's definitely worth rewatching.
Nice.
But what
I gotta check that one out.
Oh yeah. Oh dude, definitely.
Nice. Yeah, I got a new movie from Clint Eastwood, Juror Number 2. So this movie is interesting. For some reason, the backstory here, which really is baffling. This movie was made for Max, but they said, no, we're going to put it in theaters instead. And then they put it on like 25 theaters its first opening weekend. And then they bumped it up to 45. And then it just came out of theaters altogether. So it's like, what the hell's going on here? Why are you burying a Clint Eastwood movie? I don't know. But so it's a pretty fun premise. It kind of feels like something we may have seen before. It feels like an older kind of thriller film from like the 90s or early 2000s. It's stars Nicholas Hoult as a man named Justin Kemp. He has a wife played by Zoe Dutch. She's about to give birth any minute now. She's ready to burst, but he is stuck as a juror on a high-profile murder trial, which once all the evidence is set forth, he realizes he was in the bar where our victim was at with her boyfriend, who's the one on trial because everyone believes he actually murdered her that night. And then it turns out Justin realizes he might have actually been the one to kill her because it was a rainy night. He looked away from the road for 1 second and he hit something, got out of his car. There was no body. He saw a sign, like a deer crossing sign. So he assumed, okay, I hit a deer, whatever. And then all this information comes forth and he's like, holy fuck, I think I might have done this. So it becomes this moral quandary of what should he do? Should he hey, I don't think this guy did it because I did it, and here's why I think I did it. Or should I vote with all the other jurors and say, hey, this guy deserves to rot in hell, and then nobody will ever suspect him? Or should he try to persuade the jurors to vote that this man is innocent and everyone gets off scot-free? And it's rough because you're kind of rooting for so many different things. Because he's a good guy. And the interesting thing here, right away, all the jurors besides him vote guilty. And he is the one who's like, guys, I don't think so. I think we should really talk about all this. And then he slowly gets everyone else kind of saying, maybe you're right. And then maybe this is a hit and run accident. And then that kind of sets a lot of things in motion that slowly start pointing towards him. And he has to kind of find ways to get people off his scent before they actually catch on to him. And as all this is going on, you have the two lawyers. You have Toni Collette as the prosecutor. She's running for DA. She wants to nail this guy.
Oh, yeah. She's going for it.
Yeah. Hardcore, whether she believes it or not, she wants this guy to rot. And then you have Chris Mancina as the public defender, who really genuinely believes this guy didn't do it. And the two are good friends, and like they'll talk after work and stuff. And he's even like, do you really think that my guy did it? And she's like, it doesn't really matter what I think. But the weird thing here is Toni Collette is doing the Southern accent because I think it takes place in Georgia, and it comes and goes throughout the film. So it's like, oh God, you couldn't do ADR after you realize that she shouldn't be doing this voice, because it's just really, that's the only major issue I have with this film.
Okay.
It's really gripping. It's kind of on the edge of your seat, and it has a fantastic cast. You also have Kiefer Sutherland, Leslie Bibb, J.K. Simmons, and one of my favorites here is Cedric Yarborough, not doing a comedic character. He's actually like really selling it as like a serious guy. And for Clint Eastwood being 94 years old, sharp as a tack, still a really solid film all around.
I've been really curious about this one.
Yeah, I think it should hopefully be on Max before the end of the year. I'm assuming, but I'm gonna give Juror Number 2 3 slices of toast. I really had a good time watching it. I really wanted to see it so bad. It was only playing, like I said, in 45 theaters. I actually paid to park and go see it in Boston because I wanted to see it that bad. I'm like, I got to check this out.
Oh, dang.
See what it.
Well, nice. It sounds like it was well worth it, though.
Oh, 100%. 100%. You have a movie that I reviewed a couple of episodes back, and I also recently rewatched it, and I'm excited to see what you have to say about it because I honestly have different thoughts after rewatching it. So I'm wondering which way you're going to lean.
Okay. Interesting. Oh no. Okay, yeah, I'm intrigued by that. Well, yes, as Adam said, we have recently reviewed this one, but for those fully unaware of what this movie is, it's takes place at a concert that's being held in this is Pittsburgh, right? I guess everything is, or Philadelphia.
I think
What
so.
am I saying? Yeah, like most of his other movies.
Every other M. Night movie.
M. Night Shyamalan movie. Yeah. This was this is telling a story of a father taking his daughter to this concert of this big pop star, super famous. I'm assuming almost a Taylor Swift-esque level of fame here. And while this is going on, we quickly learn he's got some nefarious hobbies, including kidnapping and murdering people. And while he's in here, realizes there is a trap that has been sprung because the authorities believe that this serial murderer is at this show. They just don't know what his name is, what he looks like. They've got a psychological breakdown of who this person could be, and he's doing his best to try to dodge all the things laid out before him. Try to make his way through the net. They do a great job of feeling like you're in a full stadium. Our star, or the actor that's playing the pop singer, who's played by his daughter, M. Night Shyamalan's daughter, actually does a killer job. Like, she has a singing voice. She does a good job of like playing a pop star. The situations going on. What started to bug me was like, God damn, they're spending a lot of time not watching this, I'm sure, very expensive concert. We're constantly getting up to do different things. How many different snacks can you fucking eat?
And I don't care how old this girl is. She's not going to just walk away with her dad. She's going to be fixated on this concert. Not be like, Dad, what's wrong? Fuck your dad. You don't care what's going on with your dad. You're at a concert, man. And I'm sorry,
Lady Raven.
I'm not trying to hijack it here, but they
no.
treat this girl like she's like an 8-year-old girl. The way that
bothered me too,
and the way they oh god,
yeah. There was that's kind of where it was starting to go with this. Like, why all of a sudden are you treating not just the characters with kid gloves, but even the audience themselves? There's some very not subtle ways they started revealing things, and I was really hoping you were going to build up to this other level of some other story taking place as well. Never happens. I was like, the whole movie, I'm not quite holding my breath, but just kind of like, okay, but what's around the corner? Oh no, we're still doing this. All right, but here's this thing. Clearly we can't get. Oh no, he just got out of that. Well, the whole movie just constantly feels like that. And instead of this big dramatic slope or like this cliff that our character has to jump off of, it just kind of shallows out until it's. Even when you get to the climax at the end, I kind of just wanted it to end. I was really getting over that, and it wasn't.
It has like a few beats where it feels like it should have ended, but it just kept going.
Yes, and like he's supposed to be this. He's so brilliant at doing all this shit, but he lets the dumbest shit hinder himself. But then he gets out of some of these really big scenarios that he just happened to be planned for, and I'm like, oh my god! It started to get so frustrating by the end. I was very much over this movie by the time it was over. I've got to give Trap one slice. It was just, there's things and all of the points I'm giving that slice are coming from. They did a good job of making you feel like where you were. It looked believable. This was a large production, a lot of extras, a lot of moving pieces in that regard. But I was just so over the story. Like, this is another one of those where I think the trailer gives you most of the movie right there. Even I was looking forward to some of those like climactic moments because you've already told me about them in the trailer. So now I'm just kind of biding my time until the next exciting thing finally hits us. And then it's not even quite as exciting as I wanted it to be in the first place. So it was a letdown for me.
And there's some real laughable things. It's like why is there a concert in the middle of broad daylight? Like, not even like
Oh,
6
right.
or 7.
Yeah.
It's like, nope. It feels like it's noon. And then there's like intermissions in a concert, and the way people talk and act just don't feel natural.
It's really odd. Name a stadium where you're able to just pal around with a vendor that then is letting you just fucking walk back into their storage areas. And
The vendor is my
take
favorite
this,
person.
take that. Oh, he's
then-
funny.
The vendor's going out to get all these t-shirts. He doesn't walk away with the box. He walks out with like 2 shirts of his own and one for fucking Hartnett. It's like, what?
Right.
Come on.
And it's just, come on.
Oh.
Yeah.
But the best part is I love M. Night Shyamalan. I'm her uncle, her mother's brother.
Oh God,
it's like,
yeah.
what?
Got himself in there still. But
If you want to have a good laugh, listen to Paul Shear's podcast. How did this get made? They did a fantastic episode on Trap. Like they
Nice.
tore it apart. Yeah,
I could imagine. Oh, I'll have to give that a listen for sure.
but it's
I will
sad.
s- I will-
Oh, sorry.
Oh no, I was just gonna say I do like Josh Hartnett being kind of creepy though. I wish
Yeah, he's good
they
at that.
committed a little more to it, and let him actually be a mastermind, but we kind of backed away from that pretty fast.
And it could have been a few little tweaks, and it could have
Yes!
been a little more concrete and solid. But
Definitely.
as much as I laugh at it, and it's like it's so unplausible and just laughable, I still had a good time watching it. And watching it twice, I wasn't like, fuck this movie. It's just like, all right, this is an M. Night movie. All right, that makes sense.
Hey, if you're being entertained,
Yeah.
that's all that matters at the end of the day. Even if you can still enjoy a not well crafted film.
Yeah.
But it still has elements that are worth coming back to.
Right.
I could see that. I don't know if I'm gonna give me a decade or more before I think I come back to this one.
But you chose a good time because everyone's discovering this movie on Max now, so that's a good time to review it. I felt like. Kudos. I have a horror movie that's not as laughable, a more serious movie that comes under the title Heretic. Yeah. All right, so this one, good stuff here. You have Sophie Thatcher and Chloe East playing 2 Mormon missionaries who are going out trying to convert people to their religion, and they end up going to the house of a very kind older man named Mr. Reed, played perfectly by Hugh Grant. And at first he invites them in. They're kind of hesitant. They're like, we can't enter your house unless there's a woman present. Do you have a wife or a girl roommate? He's like, yeah, my wife's here. She'll come in. They go in and then they're talking. Things seem a little off, but it's going okay. And then he ends up kind of questioning everything, like playfully asking things. You can tell he knows more about Mormonism and other religions than these 2 girls actually know. So he's really just calling things into question, and they're a little bit taken back, but they're like, oh, I think this is good. I think we're going to be able to convert them. And he comes and goes a few times, and then he's like, oh, why don't you follow me into this room? And they're like, okay, we'll be 1 second. And then they're like, something feels off here. I don't know. Let's try to leave. And they go to the door, but the door won't open. It's locked and they can't unlock it. So they kind of proceed to the next room where Mr. Reed is kind of in this kind of study. And now things get a little more sinister because he's showing a more darker side where he's kind of like going on rants and monologues about how religion is kind of like everything else, kind of like a monopoly where there's this one original one and then there's all these different copies and variations of it. And what's the true religion? And there's a lot of pop culture references like, oh, you like this song by this band? Oh, but it's really a ripoff of this song. And then another person ripped that song off and that second band sued that band. And, oh, you like Monopoly? That was a ripoff of this game and blah, blah, blah.
Oh,
and then he's like, the whole time they're like, we kind of want to go. And he's like, oh, well, you're free to go. They're like, okay, what door? He's like, you choose whichever door you want. And then he writes like belief and disbelief or something like that on the door. And he's just kind of threatening them in a very kind of fun and decent manner, and it's really interesting. I'm not doing it justice. I do apologize. One thing leads to another. They go in this next door, and it's an even bigger trap that they're in, and then it takes a spin where they're really then seriously questioning their religion when they see something that could or could not be a miracle, because he's promised that he can show them a true miracle to make them question everything. And it's like, is this real? Is this fake? They don't know. And I'm sorry, I'm not doing any justice here, giving you beat by beats, but it's really interesting because there's a lot of monologues, there's a lot of speeches, there's really great performances. Like Hugh Grant is giving a fantastic performance as this kind of guy that you love to hate, who you don't know if you want to believe or not believe. You kind of want to take his side in some of this, but then what he's doing to these girls is really fucked up. And these two girls really, the dialogue they have and the way they kind of act it is so believable. It's like, oh wow, that's interesting and it's cool. And oh my God, this movie was fantastic. The whole time it was like, you don't know what's going to happen next. Now I will say the first hour, super solid. Second hour, it takes a little bit of a turn. And it's like, okay, I don't like this part as much, but it's still pretty solid. I'm going to give Heretic 3.5 slices of toast.
Oh, damn. Okay.
Yeah.
Wow. Yeah. This one sounded really intriguing to me. So I'm glad you enjoyed this. And I've been hearing nothing but good things as far as this is like one of his better performances in quite some time too. Like this was a standout performance in this one. So I'm definitely checking this out for sure.
It's a movie that I would honestly watch again multiple times, because I feel like there'll be even more nuances that you can kind of like find and enjoy. But switching things up, I have a movie that just came out in theaters called Red One, starring Dwayne "The Rock" Johnson, Chris Evans, and Lucy Liu. What can I say about this one? Oh, boy.
The movie we didn't know we needed and never asked for.
100%. So essentially, the eve of Christmas Eve, so 2 days before Christmas, Santa Claus is kidnapped. And Dwayne "The Rock" Johnson is his like head of security. He's a member of this elite task force called ELF. And he's been doing it for years, but he doesn't really believe in he doesn't believe in the goodness of man anymore. He loves the kids. He thinks kids are great, but he thinks that grown-ups are kind of jaded and they're shitty, and he just doesn't feel like this job's right for him anymore. So this is going to be his last Christmas, and he's retiring and moving on to something else. And Santa Claus is kind of saddened by this, but he's like, if that's what you want to do, fine. And then, of course, Santa gets kidnapped, and he has to save Christmas by finding Santa. And he has to team up with someone who is a level 4 naughty list, baddie, a guy who is a non-believer and just does the sleaziest things to make $1. He'll even steal candy from a baby if he feels like it. And that is Chris Evans, who just so happened to have been the guy who, one way or another, led to Santa Claus getting kidnapped. He didn't know what he was doing. He was just kind of tracking Santa Claus. Not Santa Claus, this seismic shift of some phenomenal happening, which happened to be Santa Claus' sleigh going to the North Pole. And then the bad guys took that information and broke into the North Pole. And these two mismatched guys have to go on an epic quest. And zany things happen. And they end up in, I want to say, Aruba. Yeah, because that makes sense. It's weird. It kind of feels like 24 meets Men in Black meets a Christmas movie in all the weirdest of ways. And I think it's like rated maybe PG, but they throw in some harsh, like, what the hell? And maybe a fuck here or there. And it's interesting because I don't think this movie really knows what it wants to be. Like, there are scenes where Dwayne "The Rock" Johnson can shrink down to the size of like Ant-Man and then grow back to the regular size. And they go on a quest. They meet Krampus. They have to fight the Christmas witch. Of course. And Chris Evans is a shitty dad. He got the waitress from It's Always Sunny knocked up. He has a son. She got married to someone else, and he feels like he doesn't want to get in his kid's way, so he just stays out of the way. But now he has to learn to be a dad while he's kind of saving Christmas. And it's a super predictable movie. There's some laughs, a lot of action. This is directed by Jake Kasdan, who did the last couple of Jumanji films, and produced by $7, which is
that makes
Dwayne
sense.
Johnson. And J.K. Simmons is a buff, in-shape Santa Claus, which is kind of fun. Bonnie Hunt plays Mrs. Claus, and she doesn't look like she's aged in I don't know, ever. She looks the same as she looked in Jumanji almost. It's crazy.
Oh, nice.
And we even have a villain in here, a middleman played by Nick Kroll. You get a little bit of everything in this film.
Awesome. I gotta make a comment though. I love the artwork that's chosen in the episode for those not watching along. There's this pose that Dwayne Johnson's doing, and you already know what pose I'm talking about. It's a quarter
it's the
turn.
Dwayne Johnson pose.
It's the quarter turn away, but his head turned back past the point of view here, like back past the camera.
You smell what this giant elf is cooking,
right? If we could get like a collage of all the times he's just done this fucking pose for every movie poster for every movie he's ever been in, I think it would be like all the movies he's ever done. It tells you so much. That tells you so much right there. All we're doing is banking on these names doing this thing. It's Christmas. It's action. We're going to do action things. I remember when I saw this trailer in the theater, I was just like, absolutely fucking not. Why did you guys do this? Was this a contractual obligation, or like is this, you know what, look at this, actually all of our schedules, it does line up, you know what, make them all do this fucking movie. So I'm curious where you land on this thing, because dear God, this looks like quite the film.
I don't know, that's the thing. Like, I want to say I hate it, I want to say I like it. I'm somewhere in the middle of love and hate. And by love, that's being very generous. I'm in the middle of like and dislike.
Sure. But not like.
I will say, I think this was like a $200 million film or something. I think it's going to be a box office flop. Yeah. But I think once this hits Amazon Prime, because it's a Prime original film, it's going to be a smash hit, because that kind of seems to be the formula now. These big budget movies that are mediocre, nobody sees in the theater because they know it's going to be streamable soon. And then they'll watch it and it will get all the watches because they don't got to waste the money. They're already paying for these services. But if you're looking for something in the holiday theme that's different, sure, check this out. But honestly, I had more fun watching Hot Frosty on Netflix last night than I did watching this in the theater today. And that is a movie that's essentially Elf meets Frosty the Snowman. Shouldn't work. It's like a knockoff of a Lifetime movie, but it works better than this works, in my opinion.
Damn.
Now, everyone's giving fun performances, but it also feels like everyone's in a different movie, kind of. And
sure.
Yeah, it's weird like that. But I'm going to give Red One, give it 1.5 slices of toast.
Okay.
Kids
that's
might like
about the range. Yeah, that's about the range I was expecting for something like this. What's funny is, and like last night, I turned on, I forget which streamer it was. I think it was Hulu or Netflix has their new original animated Christmas movie that Gerard Butler lends his voice to Santa Claus, and it's like, it looks really charming. The art, it's like a 2D animation art style. It looks beautiful. I am definitely want to check this one out. I feel like it looks like something you might enjoy as well. It's maybe that's the more instant classic sort of thing that I'm looking forward to. And it, not a crazy, but not a crazy $200 million budget where they're banking on this thing landing in other places eventually.
And they're hoping for a franchise here, because Lucy Liu is in charge of this like MIB type agency, which is they kind of have to protect and serve the mythical monsters and creatures of the world.
Oh, of course.
We see the Headless Horseman, we see some other beings, and it's like, hold your horses here, folks.
Oh my God. You can already set up like a fucking Halloween sequel somehow, and then we can do a fucking, I don't know, Easter, and then why not Tooth Fairy? It comes back around.
Oh yeah, there you go. And
Dwayne Johnson plays both roles.
oh, hell yeah. And he could easily do it. And the interesting thing here is the Winter Witch, our main baddie, is played by Kara Shipka, the new girl who
Oh.
plays Sabrina the Teenage Witch. And it's
Mhm.
interesting seeing her play a different kind of witch, a more menacing witch, but she feels like she's doing something that doesn't belong in this movie. She's really going for it, where everyone else is like, we're in it for the paycheck. It's like,
Nah,
ooh,
I'm
that's
here.
rough.
I showed up. See this
Yeah.
face? This is what you're paying for right now. That's it.
Mm-hmm. I peed in my bottles on set because I'm dedicated to this movie.
I heard about that. That's so nasty. Oh, come on, man. And then you probably just like shook someone's hand or something, you know, it's just like, are some of the people who've got to clean up that set? Jesus Christ.
Right?
Oh
Poor
my
PAs.
God. Oh, yeah. That's the worst.
But I think we're going to move on to greener pastures with a brand new movie that comes out on Friday that you have for us, Dennis.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. As teased a little earlier, I got to see a slightly early screening for The Gladiator 2. So
I like how you threw the onto the Gladiator.
I know,
2.
right?
That
The
sounds
Gladiator.
prestige.
There's one, and then there's two of them.
Yeah, why
so-
not call it Gladiators?
Gladiators. Oh, that's true. I mean, because you're kind of only following one of them, sort of.
Fair enough.
You get similar themes, of course, but so I digress. This is a direct sequel to the first film. Film actually starts off in Africa, where we see a young farmer and his new bride are tending to their home, and invading forces come, and it's the Roman army, led by Pedro Pascal, who plays Marcus.
Nice.
He's just spent years of his life conquering land for Rome, adding to the largest empire on earth, and he's over it. He's tired of the bloodshed, but this is just the role he was given. He's a soldier, and he's going to do his soldiering. We quickly start to recognize some familiar things about our main character, Lucius, which he doesn't even go by Lucius when we first talk to him, and find out this is the Lucius from the first Gladiator film, the son of Lucilla and Maximus. So with his dying breath, he asked, "Is Lucius safe?" And she says, "Yes." The very next thing that happens is him getting sent as far away from as possible, because he is immediately would be in line to ascend the throne, which would make him a huge target, and everyone would try to kill him so they could get their shot at the throne. So he's been away for 16 years, just trying to live his life away from the Roman Empire. Gets thrown back into it. His wife is killed in battle. He's just got nothing. He believes there's just nothing left to live for, essentially. But he's going to just fight to survive. Similar story. He's captured. He gets pulled into with other slaves. He gets recognized as a very physically fit sort of guy. So we're going to throw you in the Colosseum. And of course, he fucking rocks it right out of the gate. So immediately the other gladiators start kind of latching themselves onto him, because they know that he's going to help get them through the worst of it. Meanwhile, his mother, who's still alive, begins to hear of this. These new games are being held because of all these new lands that were conquered by Marcus, and he's now married to Lucilla, and she's just barely, basically trying to stay alive between the new twin emperors, who are absolute psychopaths. Geta and Caracas are the names of the two emperors. They're supposed to be twin brothers, and holy shit, they're really twisted, and with no care for the citizens. They're just kind of dicking around, partying, drinking, fucking. They're just living the best life. But the people hate them. So there's some hope that holding these games will kind of win the people back over again. And we're finding out there are actually wheels are turning, plans are in motion to take them down. this is really cool about this one, where Maximus was kind of in the center part of all of those stories going on. That's not happening here. We actually have these parallel stories happening in tandem, and it's visually stunning. The movie's so exciting. There's never a dull moment. You get incredible performances. Denzel Washington, Pedro Mescal, Connie Nielsen, Joseph Quinn, and Fred Hershinger all crush it. I mean, every single performance is fantastic. There's so many practical effects. The sets are so realistic. I mean, of course, there are some big set pieces that they use a lot of special effects, but they do it in such a believable manner. The initial battle right out the gate are these Roman triremes just come ramming into the walls of the city, and it's just epic, like from start to finish. There's no stop in this fucking thing. I had a great time watching it, including the fact that we got to watch it at the Chinese Theater in Hollywood.
Ooh. Which they have the Colosseum out front, right?
Yeah. We had to walk through that to get into the theater. That thing was really cool. It's a little chilly for a Hollywood morning to wait outside for this screening to start, but it was well worth the wait, as we got to see a little Q&A panel with Paul, Denzel, Connie, and Joseph, as well as three of the producers. And it was really cool to hear their insight. And I have to agree with some of the statements they were making. This movie demands that you see it in the theater. It sounds incredible. The sound effects and the score itself, the visuals are stunning. I mean, they bring the Colosseum to life. And huge set pieces. They talk about how they'll have 6 of the main cast all acting in their scenes simultaneously. They'd lose track of how many cameras are rolling all at once, because Ridley Scott was just shooting the shit out of everything. Denzel made a joke about how it's like, I haven't had a background job in years. You're constantly on camera. They're constantly cutting between things. The movie is a spectacle. It is absolutely worth checking out. It gives you a lot of the same feelings you were able to achieve in the first film, but with a new story, new characters. It is definitely not just a rehash. Like, I feel like there's some concern that this is just like more of the same. It starts there, but it gets so much bigger than that. I don't even want to spoil. I like I said, I was really into the lore and the history of gladiators and the things that they were able to accomplish in the Colosseums, and we get to see some of the wilder things that they were actually capable of doing as just entertainment. At the end of the day, it's nuts that this shit was entertainment for people, but it is. Oh yeah, it is entertaining in the theater for sure. The film itself is. Are you not entertained? Yes, very much. Gladiator 2. I'm gonna give this one 3.5 slices. It's an incredible sequel. It lives up to the name. It's not one of I was so worried it was gonna be one of those kinds of movies where, like, yeah, it was pretty good, but why'd you call it that? Because now you've set the bar so high. No, it lives up to it. It's definitely up there. And Denzel Washington as a villain, I mean, holy shit, it's some of his best roles. Like, this goes back to Training Day, the scheming and the deviousness he has, and the influence and the way he's able to manipulate people around him. So fantastic. It was a great movie. I think you're gonna enjoy it, Adam.
Awesome. Yeah, I'm looking forward to it. Now, I've never seen the original. Do I have to watch it? I mean, it sounds like it ties in, but could it be its own solo thing?
The movie does not shy away from it realizing it's been 24 years since the last film happened. I think they give you the necessary little morsels you need to get invested into the story. I think it does help considerably, though, because it does paint a better picture of what the mentality is in Rome at the time. It gives a really good starting point of just how fractured the empire was starting to become. There was the popular opinion of some things, and then there was like how people really feel behind closed doors, because let's be honest, they don't want to be hunted down, killed, thrown into a pit of lions, whatever the hell. You know, like it's it's oddly reminiscent of maybe certain political climates that are occurring or that shall occur soon. It is, but it doesn't try to paint it that way either. It's not trying to be political. It is about whether or not you're for the people. Are you fighting for yourself? Are you fighting for a greater good? And it is a damn good movie.
Now I know Ridley has gone on to say he wants to do a third one. Would you think that's worthwhile? Would you want to check that out? Or is it like, we're done?
I see, that's the funny thing. It's like what I heard Russell Crowe said about it, and like he's was already, first of all, they never even told him anything about it. Apparently he found out about it after the movie was already being made. It's a closed story. Did it need a second one? No, it genuinely doesn't. But this second one does a really good job of telling this story, and it does the same thing. The way it ends very well. I like where it lands. So what would a Gladiator 3 even look like? I don't know, because you don't even give us another character. You don't plant that seed necessarily, unless it's seeing certain characters ascend to the positions that they are striving for, and then we're watching the next generation show up. But I don't really see a need for it. So I hope the time is taken. Although, what is he, 86, 83 years old?
Yeah, he's getting up there.
But I get it's not like there's a ton of he's got a ton of time to keep making movies, but the man is still so in love with making films. That's one of the consensus everyone had said on that panel. Was it was incredible. He would say all he needs to get through the day is coffee, whiskey, and a little more sleep at night. And he's good to go. And they were even saying, like, at night when he's done shooting for the day, he goes back to his room and he watches his old movies.
Wow.
Like, the guy just keeps,
that's something.
and he keeps re-examining his stuff, and he keeps like deeper.
Well, he's a master at what he does. So
he is. He like
why not?
Truly is. So I thoroughly encourage you toasties, if you have the opportunity to see this in theaters, to please do that. This is the kind of large scale thing that deserves that sort of attention and respect, I think.
So I'm guessing from what you're saying here, probably even better to see it on IMAX or Dolby, like a big screen, like to really immerse yourself. Nice.
Yes. Yeah. Go for that little extra if you can, because just the cinematography is gorgeous. You never live too tight or too big. It's the camera is constantly moving. We're all over the place, and not in a disorienting way. The like I said, the sound is incredible. It's so visceral. The action is so intense and brutal. Just like the first one, I was wondered how are you going to top crazy beheadings and people just getting torn apart, and turns out they thought of crazy ways. The introduction of the animals they chose to include in this movie, even wilder than the first one, and the first one was kind of intense.
Nice.
Great time.
Now,
had a great time.
I will say I have the opposite of that. I saw Red 1 in IMAX because Dwayne Johnson said, after I saw Dune, I knew we had to make this in IMAX because it needs it. Bullshit. Fuck you, Dwayne. I didn't need that. But I'm happy Ridley knows what's up.
Yes, it lives in that scale, though. You know, like, it's especially anytime we're in the Colosseum, you just feel it, and the sound of the crowd around you and everything, just it demands your attention, and you're very much in these intense moments. I'm excited to see the direction that Paul Mescal's career is going to take. He did such a good job. I was not nearly as familiar with him, of course, as we are of Denzel Washington, Pedro Pascal, or Connie Nielsen, but that guy has got some chops. We're going to be seeing a lot more of him. I'm sure in the big screen.
It's funny. I was talking to Sarah earlier about this. I'm like, everyone talks about Paul Mescal. I don't know him. All right, I only saw him in one movie and really dug it. All of Us Strangers, fantastic film. And then we went through his like list of movies, and I'm like, I've never seen any of these. They all look like they're heavy films. They all kind of look similar poster wise,
right?
But I'm happy to see he's getting to do something bigger on a wider screen, and hopefully, like you said, be able to blow up.
Yeah. It's the drama's there, the action's there. he's even within this film, there's a good range of emotion and things for him to draw from that really shows on screen. And this is, I'm sure, to the beginning of many, many more large-scale blockbuster films that guy's going to be in.
Not bad.
Yeah.
Well, I think that's going to probably do it for reviews. And wow, thank you. Yeah, that's good.
Yeah.
I'm looking forward to checking that out.
Yeah, good. Glad to hear it, man. I'm looking forward to not checking out Red One.
I'm happy I could do it for you.
Thank you for taking one for the team. Yeah.
Anytime. Anytime. That's part of the show. You gotta see things, let people know if it's good or bad.
That's right. That's absolutely right.
Although, take what I say with a grain of salt, because on the episode I reviewed Trap on, I gave it a glowing recommendation. So I don't know. What does that say about me? Maybe Red One might be so freaking good, and I'm like,
oh my god, right? Turns out, I come back
everyone's gonna love it.
It is the greatest film I've ever seen. Fuck Gladiator 2. That was a pile of shit.
Watch out, Ridley.
Ridley Scott quoted, "Holy fuck."
Oh no, that's what he's Ridley Swat after this fucking film.
Ridley Squat
faces off. Yeah,
you might as well call me Ridley Squat after watching Red One.
Oh boy. But you know what? I'm excited for the Toasties to see, Dennis.
What's that, Adam?
A little thing called Movie Toast the Festival.
Fourth
annual.
Yeah. Oh, dude, so excited! As all of the preparations start coming together, this is we're getting closer to the moment, and it's easily some of the best films we've shown or had featured in the festival. This collection of shorts that we've selected is just so solid. They're so good, and no marks against people who've entered in the past, but it's just something about this. Yes, oh, absolutely. But there's something just about this particular set of films. It just seems to keep getting better and better, and I'm really excited for you folks to come and check it out. It will be streaming live. I mean, it's pre-recorded, but we're going to do as Adam said, the premiere Saturday, December 14th. Mark your calendars, save the date. Be sure to follow the socials and such, as we will bring up in a moment.
Right now?
But right now, how about right now? Yeah. I like that.
You get all the dates and deets and all that fun stuff, man, at Facebook. 2 times on Facebook. X, Instagram, Threads, TikTok, YouTube. Maybe some other places that we don't even know about. All at movie_toast.
That is absolutely right. Yeah, please keep your eyes peeled for any pertinent information that may come up, and tune in and join us when we premiere the show. It's going to be a great time. We had a lot of fun putting it together, getting our stuff filmed. It's looking good so far. I'm so excited to share all of the stuff.
And if you watched in the past and you're like, there's too much of you guys, we've cut back. We're letting the films do most of the talking this year.
Films are the star.
We're not going to hijack it this year like we did in the past.
Sorry, we don't have any DVDs to sell you this time. That was
sorry, Christopher Walken. Maybe next year.
He was bummed. Chris was bummed.
Yeah.
No Dolly Parton DVDs. Sorry. But
Warner Brothers doesn't like us enough this year to have us sell more DVDs and Blu-rays.
So you guys are too.
Anywho,
going to Comic-Con and shit.
What we are here to sell you is a good show, a better show. We want to know what works for you, what doesn't work for you, what you like, what you dislike. Please leave us a review over on Apple Podcasts or wherever you get this podcast.
Yes, absolutely. It's the more we can try to get the show to a place that is entertaining and fun for you guys to keep coming back, the more we get to review movies. Just want to know what's gone right, what's gone wrong, and just try to make the best, most golden, delicious toast we possibly can for you.
That's for sure. But say you don't want to check out the festival, you don't want to follow us, you don't want to review us. Could you do yourself one favor? A simple, easy, cheap, free favor.
Please stay toasty.
And Dennis, they're the kings of the real. Reviewing new movies, they keep it real. Coast to coast, from LA to the east. On the podcast show, they feast on the beast. Adam's bringing knowledge like he's Professor X. Dennis with cuts deeper than Wolverine's claws. I guess Marvel, DC, they know them all by heart. Breaking down the plot, tearing every scene apart. They got the juice like Tarantino's Pulp Fiction. Breaking down movies with a sharp precision. Adam coming in hot like a John Wick hit. Dennis bringing the heat like the climax of a Tarzan flick.
I like it. Pulp Fiction, John Wick, Tarzan movie.
Yeah. We're not going to commit to which Tarzan movie, but one that stuck out to me now that normally doesn't is they feast on the beast. I'm like, what is the beast? Is the beast the big screen? Is it the streamers? I don't know, but we feast on it.
Shenanigans. Yeah.
That's
I had to say that was the smoothest, most in sync we got to Stay Toasty in quite some time. That was great.
Even though as we were doing it, I'm like, we got to find a way to get more on cue, because I'm like,
I like
get snappy.
I like the dual Stay Toasty. Yeah. It's a good catch.
Yeah.
The way it was always meant to be.
Right?
Maybe that's what it is. We got to record a soundbite and just have it be its own. Like we hit the button.
Yep. It's a music cue.
Yeah.
You just see those.
Stay Toasty.
Because I do listen to a podcast where the hosts like say a viewer mail at the same time in sync, and it's always fantastic to listen to. And I'm like, why can't we be that good?
Are they in the same room?
Yeah, that's probably why.
That's probably why. Yeah. Folks, we got our shows being transmitted across thousands of miles here,
from coast to
we're
coast,
doing the best,
and all around the globe.
That's right.
Man, oh man. You know, we have a background image here, a GIF of Black Friday. Is it me, or has there not really been a lot of Black Friday talk this year? Like in the past, it's been Black Friday week, Black Friday month, and now I feel like
it started
Black
too
Friday's
soon. I've been getting Black Friday emails for like 2 months. It's ridiculous. Wow. It's just because I think it's just because the state of people not being able to go that crazy. You know, like
that's
you
true.
gotta budget that shit out, man.
That's true.
Yeah, I just think it doesn't quite mean the same, especially when a lot of people are doing that stuff online. You don't have that like in
Cyber
person.
Monday in it.
I'm in fact, as we're recording this, I'm still using the TV I bought that Black Friday when we went to Best Buy
all those
years ago.
Nice.
It's still my favorite monitor. It's killer.
Not bad. But I want to take a second here to remind the toasties out there. If you like Black Friday and you like B movies and just midnight movies, there is a little movie called Black Friday starring Bruce Campbell. And it's available over on Amazon Prime for free. The reason I bring it up is because I worked on it, and nobody's ever watched it. So check it out if you get time. It's not the best. It's not the worst.
I didn't realize it was on Prime. Well, I'm going to add that.
I was like, where can you find it? And I'm like, now it's on Prime. It was on Peacock for a bit. I don't know where it was before that, but check that out, folks. Let me know. I got paid, so they're not going to take the money back at this point. That was during the pandemic times, back 2020. If they repo that money, good luck trying to get that. I'm broke. I don't know. Sorry, that was
sweet.
just a
I got it.
plug.
Yep. Added.
Nice.
I don't know why I keep thinking of the movie Black Sunday. There's one that
sounds like a probably better movie.
Oh, it's excellent. It's nothing to do with that at all. It's about a terrorist attack during the Super Bowl. So made in the 70s. Wow. It's brutal. Great movie though.
Fair enough. All I know is this movie might not have been great, but I had a fun time making it. Got to meet one of my legends, one of my heroes, Mr. Michael Jai White, Black Dynamite himself. Got a little one-on-one time with him, and then I got to spend a couple of weeks in a car with Bruce Campbell. So that's a gift in and of itself.
Hell yeah,
more fun than when I drove with Red One's Chris Evans in my car for a while, man. Oh man. And now I'm unemployed, so I don't drive car good, I guess.
I don't drive car good. You've been up close to a lot of big names, though. Man, that's
A lot of medium
quite
names.
the collection. Well,
Yeah.
I
No
don't know
Dwayne
why
the Rock Johnsons.
when you told me the story of like how chill Luke Wilson was and just
Oh,
very,
dude. Yeah, that was the Chris Evans movie. Oh, Luke Wilson.
Oh, yeah,
Every time
yeah.
I think of him, I think back to that moment. There was like we're shooting outside of a bar in Santa Monica, and there was this guy playing guitar, not very well, but very loud, right next to where Luke was like kind of chilling, just in between takes. And I'm like, I'm really sorry about that. And he's like, don't worry about it, man. Free music, this and that. And then another on that movie, homeboy from Silicon Valley, the bearded guy. I'm totally blanking on his name right now.
Yeah.
It doesn't. Whatever. My stories don't matter. They're dumb shit. Anywho, we got to end this thing, Dennis. I just wanted to promote a movie for Black Friday. If you're looking
for sure.
a new movie, check that out.
Thanks for joining us, folks.
Happy Thanksgiving.
Happy Thanksgiving.
Or whatever. If you're not in America, happy next week.
Right.
Yeah.
Happy Thursday.